Hello everyone, Andrea here. Today I am excited to introduce a powerful workflow that seamlessly integrates Siri and Tana. The beauty of this integration lies not just in its functionality, but also in its simplicity. With just a few steps, you can set up an Apple shortcut that is accessible right from your Apple Watch, and it's working in tandem with Make, the Tana Input API, and the OpenAI API. The result is a streamlined method that instantly transforms your spoken words into the super tag of your choice within your Tana graph. And this is especially useful for those moments when reaching for your phone isn't really an option. In those situations, this integration becomes an essential tool to make sure no thought goes uncaptured ever. The best part is that I'll show you how to use keywords at the beginning of your message to apply different super tags. This means that you can create memos, tasks, projects, or any other type of node that's useful to you simply by saying, "Hey Siri, audio to Tana," then you go memo, remember to buy groceries. In seconds, you'll see the new memo node appear in your search nodes, cleaned up to remove the keywords that we will discard after sending the transcription to Make. I'll be sharing this Apple shortcut and the Make scenario in the Discord server, so keep an eye out for the bundle. Okay, I think that's enough of an introduction. Let's just dive in and explore how to build this. Firstly, we need to create a new Apple shortcut. I'm calling it Siri Tana, and I'm going to add a record audio action. The settings will be audio quality normal, start recording on immediately, and finish recording on top. The next step will be get contents of URL. We need to get this recording to the OpenAI API. I'm pasting the transcription endpoint, and then the method of the call will be post, and we need first of all the authorization header. It's going to be authorization, and secondly the content type. The content type will be multi-part form data, and the authorization will be bearer followed by a space and the OpenAI API key that you generated in your account. The request type would be the request body type would be form, and the model is gonna be Whisper-1, which is the only Whisper model available right now. The second key would be the file. It would be of type file, and we select the recorded audio file. The last two are optional. I'm using temperature 0 for consistency, and then I'm using also language EN to make sure that the AI is aware that I'm talking in English to it. The next step will be processing the API response. We need a get dictionary value action. We get the value for text in the contents of URL above, and we name the variable API response. Now we are almost done. We need to send the data to Make, to a webhook, and we need a get contents of URL again, so we can use the webhook that we will now generate as a URL. We can create a new scenario in Make, then look for webhook, and then we can click on custom webhook, on add, and we will get a URL. We can copy it and paste it in our action. The method will be post, and the only key will be transcript with a new variable that we need to generate from the step above, so we get the value of the text. Transcribed text, I'm gonna call it. We need a couple more actions. One is stop and output, so we make sure that the workflow ends here and we output the transcribed text on each device. If there is nowhere to output, I want still to respond with transcribed text. And for when I use it on Mac, I like to have a notification when the workflow is complete, And so I'm gonna add an action for show notification, which is done. That's it. We can go on and test it. Memo. Test the Siri to Tana integration post from Mac and Apple Watch. There you go. Successfully determined. The make webhook received our data, and now we are ready to create our make scenario. Okay, we are ready to build our scenario now. We'll need an OpenAI block with the create completion action. And I have already added my account, but you can add your API key here. I'll select the method, the model GPT 3.5 Turbo, and I'll add the role user. And the message content will be the prompt. The prompt is quite straightforward. It's containing an instruction, and then it's followed by example. The AI will then complete based on the instructions that we are now giving inside the prompt. My audio notes will be prefixed with memo or to do, and I'll use these keywords to route these transcriptions to different super tags. And the prompt goes on by displaying the clean-up version, so without my keyword. And then I can say that the transcription is gonna be the transcript variable that we get in the webhook, sent from our AirPod shortcut. And then the cleanup is left to the AI to complete. The workflow seems okay. I can rename it now, so it's not super long. Okay, and now I can go on and create a JSON. We need the JSON block here. There you go, create a JSON. Then we need to create a new data structure. I'm gonna call it Siri to Tana, and I'm going to paste a sample of the Tana input API payload, basically, and by clicking generate, make is gonna generate the structure for me. Now, if everything is okay, I can click save, and should be good to go. Yeah, I can add a new node. The name of the node is gonna be the transcribed text, so choices, message, and content, which be sent over by OpenAI. I can include inbox in the target node ID, so it goes to my Tana capture inbox, and later on I can add the ID of the super tag we choose to use. The last step is using an HTTP request. I'm gonna paste here the API endpoint of the Tana input API. The method is gonna be post, the header is gonna be authorization, and the value is gonna be bearer, followed by the API key of your Tana workspace. The body type is gonna be raw, and the content type is gonna be JSON, and the request content is the JSON string that we just created from the step earlier. The next step is getting the Supertag ID. In my case, I'm creating a new super tag, so I just create a node, then I convert it to a super tag. I open the configuration, and then with the command line, I'm showing the API schema and copying the ID of the super tag. Now I can go back to my make integration, specifically to the JSON step, and I can add the ID of the super tag. Now my scenario is complete, and I can go on and rename it, so it makes sense in the huge list of my scenarios, and save it. Now I can simply test it. Memo. Record a video for the Siri to Tana workflow. Let's see. It's running. And there you go. It was cleaned up, and you can see that the node is now in our Tana workspace with the appropriate super tag. Okay, that's already great, but what if there is a need to categorize inputs based on multiple keywords? For instance, I might want to differentiate between a node and a task. To accommodate this, I'll introduce a new keyword, to do, simply by adding another example in the prompt. Additionally, I'll add also a cleanup example to further refine it. To effectively route the input based on the keyword, I'll use a make router. This router will determine the direction of the scenario. If the input starts with to do, it will be directed one way, and if it starts with memo, it will go the other way. To facilitate all this, I'll set up a filter on each route. These filters will check the beginning of the transcript for the keyword to do or memo to decide the route. Let's see how. Okay, let's start by editing the prompt. I'm going to add another transcription. There will be a different keyword. This time is a to do. Record a video for the Siri to Tana integration, and I'm going to include the cleaned up version, and that's it. Let's make sure that everything is correct. Okay, now I can, from the flow control generator, I can include a router. Now I need to unlink the JSON from the GPT, and I can link the JSON to the router. And you will see with the outer line that now there is a new step, there is a router. As I say, this router will define the route of this scenario. And now I only need to clone both JSON and HTTP steps, and I can label them so I know what type of filter I'm doing. And then the conditions will be the transcript starts with to do. There you go. Now if the transcription is starting with to do, this is the route to take. Of course, we need to include the new JSON string ID because we created a new one. And this is almost done. Now we need an ID for the super tag. I'm going to create a Siri task. I'm going to, let's set up a search node so we can see the new nodes popping up live. And now I need the ID, so I'll show API schema, and I can copy the ID of the new super tag. I can go back to make, paste it, and now it's complete. So if it's a memo, it is a Siri node. If it's a to-do, it is a Siri task. And it's all based on these two filters. Let me rename them. To-do Supertag filter. There you go. To wrap it up, let's test it out. To-do, record a video for the Siri to Tana workflow. And you can see that the result is a Siri task. It's cleaned up. Let's try with another one. Memo, remember to pay for the car insurance tomorrow morning. Oh, I didn't click run once. I can click run once now and use the existing data. And there we go. Remember to pay for the car insurance tomorrow morning. It's cleaned up and it's a Siri node in my Tana graph. I hope you enjoyed the process. In the bundle, I have also included an how-to video so you can install both the shortcut and the make scenario to your liking and get started with this really fast. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you very, very soon.